What's up everyone, King Crab's back again today, and today we're playing, honestly, my personal favourite type in Generation 8, Mono Rock. It's a type that many people would say is really bad, and in general I would think it's towards the lower end of the tier list. I won't deny that, but I do think it's a really underrated type, so hopefully today, if nothing else, I can show you that Rock can be really good, and so with that, let's jump right into the team. So first up, we have Magcargo, and Magcargo is something that so many people, I've fought so many people with Magcargo, and so many people are like, why use Magcargo? That thing's a joke, or that thing's really bad. But honestly, Magcargo is one of the most slept on rock Pokemon of Generation 8, NatDex, and let me explain why. With heavy duty boots, Magcargo can swap it on Stealth Rocks, Spikes, T-Spikes, all that kind of stuff without worry. It has pretty good defenses. With 120 base, it reaches 372, which is not bad. Its HP is a little lacking, I will admit, and its special defense is pretty decent, especially after sound support from Ttar. This thing is quite bulky, but it doesn't end there. It has Flame Body. Flame Body has a 30% chance to burn Pokemon upon contact, so things like Rillaboom, multi-hit Pokemon, Scizor with Bullet Punch, all these things run the risk of getting burnt by Magcargo, which really, really hurts them. And that's really, really good for my team, especially physical attackers. We have Recover for longevity, which is what I think really sets Magcargo apart from things like Colossal. So Colossal has the same kind of properties, bulky, flame body, fire type Pokemon who can eat steel attacks, but they can't recover in the face like Magcargo can. It can easily swap it on things like Excadrill and potentially spread a burn, because Excadrill generally, if it's banded, won't click something like Earthquake. In fear of Air Balloon or flying types like Aerodactyl, it eats banded Iron Head from Excadrill and can spread burns thanks to Flame Body. We also have Lava Plume, and Lava Plume is really good for trying to burn Pokemon as well as threatening Steel Pokemon out like Scizor. Of course, they can easily go into things like Heatran, which is why Ancient Power is quite nice. I chose Ancient Power over Earth Power because otherwise Heatran hard walls with an Air Balloon, and Ancient Power can pop their balloon, potentially boost my stats, which is pretty nice if that ever happens. And generally speaking, you can then swap into something like Tyranitar on the Heatran to try and either Pursuit it or Earthquake it. As well as that, you can easily scout what the Heatran has. If it's not Leftovers or Air Balloon, it's probably Choice Scarf or Choice Specs, in which case Ttar is the nice option. Speaking of Ttar, Ttar is going to be a physically offensive max HP Ttar. With Sandstream, it patches up its special defense to make this thing quite bulky, and its HP is already very good. With Leftovers, it has nice longevity. So this is going to be an offensive support Pokemon. We have Stealth Rocks to try and chip away my opponents, which is just generally very nice to break Sturdy and Sashes. You're sick of me hearing me say that by now. T-Wave is good because my team does lack some speed control, like things like Aerodactyl and Ammostar are fast when they set up, or Stack Attack is fast if it sets up Trick Room, but besides that, things like Magcargo, Tyranitar, Ammostar are kind of naturally a bit slow, so Thunder Wave really, really helps my team. We have Pursuit, which is really good for trapping opponents, Pokemon like the Latis, Psychic types like the Slow Twins, anything like that does just not want to be trapped by a Pursuit. And finally we have Earthquake, which is really good for taking care of opposing Steel types, opposing Rock types, anything like that that's weak to Earthquake, which is just generally very good coverage to have. And of course Sandstream is extremely good for my whole team. It gives a passive 1.5 times special defense boost, while also chipping my opponent 6% a turn. Next up we have Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is a Pokemon I'm kind of weirdly on the fence about. When Aerodactyl works, this thing goes crazy. It's so strong. Now, unfortunately, it's not the most reliable, as it can often miss attacks like Dual Wing Beat and Stone Edge. Their accuracy is shaky at best, so it's not great. We have Unnerve just to stop things eating berries. It's very, very niche, but sometimes you might see like a Endure Select Berry or something, so it's better I feel than Pressure or Rockhead, because I don't have any recall moves, and the thing is way too frail to make use of Pressure. So with Aerodactylite, it gets Mega Aerodactyl with Tough Claws, and Tough Claws is crazy strong because it makes my Dual Wing Beat, I think it's 52.5 base or something, and that's before Stab, and that hits twice, so it is pretty strong. I think it's over 150 base if it hits twice, which is really, really, really good, because as well as that, it also goes through things like Sashes and Sturdy because it does hit twice. Now, unfortunately, I do have to worry about things like Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin, so I have to play carefully around those. We have Earthquake as well, again for Steel types mainly, which is very important for me to be able to break. Stone Edge is generally very strong stab. Unfortunately, its accuracy isn't great. Now, previously, I would have always ran Hoenn Aerodactyl, but thanks to Generation 8, it finally got Dragon Dance, and oh my, is this thing scary. After a +1 Dragon Dance, it hits over, I think it has 399 speed in Mega Form, so it hits just shy of 600 speed, which is enough to outspeed most Choice Scarfers, often outspeed a lot of weather-boosted speeders too. And its attack stat is pretty hefty, especially paired with Tough Claws and Dual Wing Beats, so Aerodactyl is a serious threat if we can yet use it right. Next up is Choice Scarf Nihilego. Some people like Meteor Beam. I wanted the immediate speed control Nihilego offered. It's a pretty standard set. We have max speed, max special attack with Choice Scarf, and after every KO, Beast Boost is going to give me +1 special attack, which is quite nice because it's already quite speedy. It doesn't need any special defense investment to be really specially defensive, and with Ttar Sandstream, that creates just shy of 450 special defense, which is enough to tank a lot of attacks, especially paired with its very, very good HP stat. Unfortunately, physically it's extremely frail and goes down to almost all priority moves, which is why you have things like Makar go to punish them. Moveset wise, we have Power Gem, and Power Gem is just generally a nice stab, cleans through fire, flying, bug, those kind of teams, and it is 100% accurate, which is an absolute blessing for rock types. Dazzling Gleam is really good for dark and dragon types, and dragon types can give my team trouble. Things like Garchomp can be very scary, so if Garchomp is slightly weakened, Dazzling Gleam is very strong against them. Sludge Bomb is there for the grass types, especially after I take care of things like Ferrothorn. Sludge Bomb can go really, really hard against my opponent. And finally, we have Grass Knot for the ground types. Unfortunately, it's not strong enough to OHKO, I think, Hippo down at full HP, but it does around 92%, I think. Maybe that's a roll. I'm not entirely sure, but Grass Knot, while it can't necessarily sweep ground teams, it can really put dents in them, which is super important. Next up we have Stakataka, and you're probably used to seeing a Stakataka before. It's the lonely Stakataka with max attack, max HP. So specifically we want a minus defense nature with 13 IVs, and the reason for this is it gives my attack 1 more point than defense, which means after a beast boost I actually get +1 attack instead of +1 defense, which is really good. For things like Heat Crash, which is very good for steel types, for grass types. Stack Attack is generally quite strong, so Heat Crash is very strong, usually 120 base against a lot of the threats I want to take care of. We have Gyro Ball, and thinks this thing is so slow. Gyro Ball can often hit max power, which is 150, and with Stab that's 225 power, which is a stupidly strong, especially after a beast boost. And finally we have Earthquake. Again, you're probably sick of me saying this, for the steel types that aren't affected by Heat Crash, for example, things like Heatran, which can give my team trouble. And finally we have Air Balloon, and Air Balloon is good to swap in on maybe an Earthquake spammer, especially if they're choice locked and my Aerodactyl is dead. It means I can easily set up a free Trick Room, or Pokemon whose only attack would be to take care of Stack Attack, and maybe they have like Rapid Spin and Earthquake, for example. The Rapid Spin will break my Air Balloon, but that'll give me a chance to Trick Room up, which gives Stack Attack the huge advantage. And last but not least, we have Ammostar. And Ammostar is going to be crazy good. Anyone who's seen my Gen 8 rock video, or anyone who's talked to me or knows me as a Pokemon player, knows my Ammostar is quite scary for a lot of teams to deal with. And the reason for this is we actually run Shocker Berry over Focus Sash. Now personally, I'm not a big fan of Focus Sash, and the reason for that is my team has no hazard control, which you might have noticed by now. And I don't really like running hazard control on my team. I'm not too worried about T-Spikes, Nihilego can eat them. I'm not too worried about Sticky Web, my team's kind of slow to begin with. And I do have a Flyer and a Levitator in Stack Attacka. And Stealth Rock is whatever, but I get my own Stealth Rock down too, so I often want to rely on my opponent from defogging their own hazards away if they really don't want my Stealth Rocks down. So for that reason, I'm running Shockberry Ammostar, and this is really good for baiting in an Earthquake and checking up Shell Smash. So with weak armor, after an Earthquake I get +2 speed, and my Shockberry allows me to live, and then I Shell Smash that same turn, allowing me to get +3 speed, which puts me at around 600 speed, which is very fast, and also over 720 special attack, which is super strong. So Ammostar is surprisingly strong, and its natural defenses allow it to easily eat ground attacks. So after a Shell Smash, we can Scald, which is really good for taking care of ground types in the tier, for taking care of a lot of things. It's just generally strong stab and can burn. We have Earth Power specifically for Poison and Steel types, especially Toxapex, which can give my team so much trouble, so Earth Power is really good against that. And finally we have Ice Beam, and Ice Beam can easily clean through so many Dragon teams and so many ground teams, especially if I can bait the Earthquake on the Garchomp. I can easily Shell Smash in their face and then start to sweep with Ice Beam. So if you feel your team is really weak to things like fighting, you can also try run something like Choppleberry and try to bait in close combats, but I feel like Earthquakes are just much more common in the tier, which is why I chose Shucka. So that's going to be the team for today, and before we jump into the games, I want to ask you, what is your favorite rock-type Pokemon? For me, it has to be Nihilego. It honestly, once I saw it, I really liked its design, and it probably shot up to be one of my favorite Pokemon in general, let alone my favorite rock type, so don't know why, just think the glass jellyfish alien thing is really, really cool. So with that, let's pause and jump into some games. We'll be right back. So we have a game against Mono Flying, which in theory is a pretty good matchup for me, but honestly, it can be tough. Things like Aerodactyl are scary, Salamence and Corviknight can be a big threat to my team. We do very much value Nihilego here, and I think I want my rocks down very badly, so I'm going to try pressure my opponent into getting those down as soon as possible. We'll T-Wave here. Nice. Let's go for rocks then. Unless they try Dragon Dance a second time, which I didn't think they would, I think they're going to try kill the Tyranitar here, which means my Aerodactyl guarantees outspeeds, which is really good for me. Of course, that's assuming my Stone Edge connects, which it is Aerodactyl, so I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. In this position, with Sand up and with my rocks, they are going to hurt quite a lot because they do take a lot of chip, especially with heavy duty boots. The sand will chip them a small bit, though my sand is actually running out, so I have to play around that. Corviknight can be an issue, so I want to keep my cargo healthy. Same with Salamence. The Salamence can be very scary. Okay, this is heavy duty boots. Interesting. I'm going to risk one Dragon Dance as expected them to protect to get their speed boost off. I'm going to click Dual Wing Beat here just because it's slightly more accurate, and I'm not about to have Stone Edge miss. Aerodactyl is such a disappointing Pokemon with regards to its moveset. I feel like because it gets Rock Head in its base, it's perfect for things like Brave Bird and what's it called? Head Smash, I think. They're two stab recoil moves I really think would work very well with Aerodactyl that unfortunately Game Freak decided not to give it. This is also heavy duty boots. I think part of me wants to risk one Dragon Dance because even if they had Dragon Dance, we still outspeed with Nihilego. They go for Steel Wing, interesting play. They get the attack boost as well, which is very scary for me. As it turns out, I just want to KO through them anyway. Good to know. If Dragonite comes out, I'm not about to risk a Stone Edge. I think I'm going to go for a Dual Wing Beat, and my logic for that is they're often weakness policy. Actually, if the weakness policy, the rocks take damage, so it doesn't matter too much. Corviknight comes out. I think in this position, I feel like Aerodactyl has done what it needs to do. We'll click Stone Edge again. And try and get them to force a KO, which they don't even do. So I was kind of hoping Aerodactyl would feint here so I could take a Nihilego and start a Power Gem sweep, but this is fine too. They could easily Extreme Speed on Dragonite, as they're not heavy duty boost, which is absolutely fantastic for me. This opens up Nihilego a lot. This Power Gem kill? I'm almost certain it does, but I'm not about to have it not kill and then lose to Togekiss. So what we're going to do is go into Stack Attacka and try Trick Room. I mean, the game's not over yet. We're going to Gyro Ball here, which I believe KOs. It is a minimum 119 base stab, which is very strong, and their multi-scale is broken. Okay, now it's definitely GG. I don't think the crit mattered there at all. I feel like Power Gem probably would have killed. Honestly, I have this open, so maybe I should just check Dragonite. Oh, you Dragon Dance. Power Gem. Let's give it one less HP. 322. So with multi-scale gone, yeah, it does 79 to 94. I would have KO'd most likely. GG to my opponent, and with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game against Mono Steel, which is going to be extremely threatening. Though it is one I wanted to try with this team, I think Macargo can do well here, but he absolutely has to work overtime. Now, unfortunately, they do not run a Excadrill, so Ammostar is going to be a bit hard to set up with. I'm going to open up my Magcargo, expecting them to go Melmetal, as Melmetal pretty much honestly 6-0s my team. We're going to try go for a cheeky Will-O-Wisp here, just in case they decide to stay in. Actually, are they going to Earthquake? If they Earthquake, it could be game over for me turn 1. I feel like they're going to double Iron Bash, so I'm going to try Wisp. They go into their Heatran, which is a good play. They have the Air Balloon. I'm not terribly worried about this, as I can get into Ttar and potentially paralyze something. That can help. Though unfortunately, I did show my hand of Magcargo having Will-O-Wisp. They Flash Cannon. That did a surprising amount of damage. We're going to T-Wave here, unless they go into Zone. Slowing down the Heatran is quite nice for me. We're going to Pursuit, just in case they decide to swap out, because we want to break their Air Balloon, potentially for next time. And if they let me Earthquake here, it's super, super good for my Magcargo. They go into Steela, good play. We'll T-Wave here. I probably should have pursued it again just to get some chip on the Heatran, as they're the Seed set. Now, unfortunately, I have no way of removing rocks, so I'm just going to get my own rocks down. And this does give a bit of chip to things like Scizor, Celesteela, Heatran, all which is pretty nice for me. I don't have much of an answer to this, honestly. I'll try getting my Ammostar and click Scald, as it's just quite strong stab. Yeah, that did decent damage. They can probably protect here, so I'm going to try and Shell Smash. If I somehow manage to get in the position where I can KO with Nihilego, that's pretty good, because I can sack it afterwards and potentially take in my Magcargo. Oh, they go straight for an Air Slash. Good play. Perhaps they're not running Protect after all. Ah, they just read me very well. Very well played on my opponent's part. So unfortunately, this will not put it in range of Nihilego. Or will it? That should be in range, I think, if it's defensive. I assumed it was specially defensive on a Steel team, but that's defensive, based on the base boost. So I believe Nihilego gets a KO here, and if they take in something like Scizor and threaten a Swords Dance, I can always take in Magcargo. If not, I can sack Nihilego or something, which is fine by me. Do they Earthquake? There's no way they Earthquake when I have things like Aerodactyl on the team. Unfortunately, if my Magcargo doesn't burn here, I think the game is just straight up over. Let's risk the burn here on double Iron Bash. Unfortunately, we did not get Flame Body. Just in case they swap out, which they do into Heatran, we get a free recover. Quite nice. Nihilego is useless in this game, so I'm willing to sack this thing. Unfortunately, they did crit me, but I don't think it mattered too much. They don't run Earth Power, or do they? I'm not quite sure. Part of me wants to try and set up a Stack Attacka because it's so good here in the endgame. Just to click Heat Crash once Heatran's dead, so I'm going to risk that. We're going to Trick Room here. If they get fully powered, it's even better for me. That would be absolutely fantastic. Great. That is so useful for me. So we take Heatran, and now I can simply click Heat Crash and get a couple of kills, and I believe Magcargo and Aerodactyl might be able to carry through in the end game. So that full power was honestly fantastic for me. I won't complain about that. The game is far from over. They still have some huge threats on the team, namely this Melmetal. Melmetal is so disgustingly good against my team. Though I do believe Ttar outspeeds it, so hopefully I can get some chip with the likes of Earthquake. Okay, Heat Crush is 40 base. We'll click Earthquake here. And we get the KO, because we have +1. It's super, super strong. Celesteela could, in all honesty, be an issue for me. We're going to click Heat Crush. It's only 40 base, but super effective. At +2, I believe it KOs. Actually, is Gyro Ball stronger? 91 base? Yes. No. We'll click Heat Crush. It catches swap-ins as well. It's too early in the morning right now for me to do that maths. I get completely confused there for some reason. Because it's not very effective at 91 base. Actually, you're probably weaker because of paralysis. So it probably wasn't the right shout. Zone comes in. I don't know if Zone can win a KO. And honestly, I value a Trick Room here just because I can get Magcargo in afterwards. They go Gigavolt Havoc, which definitely KOs me. Though in this position, I think I value Ttar to click Earthquake. Nothing particularly like swapping into this. Oh, they're faster. Interesting. That's quite bad for me, actually. This is a very scary endgame. If they take in Caesar, I'm forced to go into Macargo, I believe. So I'm forced to go Macargo because I need Aerodactyl alive, potentially from Melmetal. So I can stop it from clicking Choice Band Earthquake in my face. Please burn. No Will-O-Wisp, no Flame Body. We'll click Wisp here, as I believe it catches Melmetal off as well if it swaps in. And now we get the Flame Body. I mean, I bet better late than never. So we can recover in their face here. Let's just get back to full HP, actually. Part of me wants to try and Lava Plume the Melmetal coming in. I don't believe my Earthquake KOs at this percentage, so I need some more chip. Let's Lava Plume. They might Thunder Punch. If they double Iron Bash, they have to roll for a burn again, which might be the difference of the game for me. No, it didn't burn. That's really unfortunate. Unless this crits, I think it's GG and they win. No, we didn't win. How unfortunate. Melmetal is seriously strong for my team. Unfortunately, I had to work Macargo overtime. Perhaps if I recovered in their face again, maybe that was the play in front of Caesar. But I was worried they're going to go into Melmetal and try and double Iron Bash or Earthquake me. So my opponent did play well, and I'm pretty happy how I played given the fact it's such a hard matchup. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Ghost. Now this looks like a pretty threatening game. Things like Poltegeist are extremely scary for my team. Honestly, Sableye is very hard to break too, so I have to play carefully around that. In general, this team looks very, very threatening, I'm not going to lie. We're going to try to open up a Tyranitar here. We're going to get my Stealth Rocks down, I think. If they are Toxic Spikes Rune, it's very bad for me. I had to wheel this into being, didn't I? My Nihilego thankfully can get rid of those, so it's not the complete end of the world for me. We'll go Macargo here. Thanks to heavy duty boots, I can try Wisp him, and I can always absorb these Toxic Spikes later with Nihilego. Unfortunately, it does force me to go into Nihilego potentially earlier in the game than I want to, but I don't have much of a choice in this position. Oh, we speed tie? That's crazy. Let's just throw some Lava Plumes trying to burn. I'm not sure if they're Earthquake, perhaps they're Body Press. Body Press naturally would be quite bad for my team. I'm not sure what the best way for me to break Sableye is. It's going to be quite scary. As they go into Chandelure. Good play. Trying to eat my Lava Plume. We'll Ancient Power here. If we get the boost, that's even better for us. That didn't do too much, which makes me believe that's most likely Choice Scarf. Hey, we got the boost as well. We should just about live, assuming they don't get a dirty roll. Excellent. Boost again? No, okay. I could be so lucky. I feel either way, Macargo has done pretty good in this position. More than I would have anticipated he did. Is Gengar Choice Scarf? Almost definitely yes. But if they click Focus Blast, it lets me easily go into Nihilego. If they click Sludge Wave, oh, it's Life Orb. I can still go Nihilego here. Absorb their Toxic Spikes and just go for a Power Gem. It's not going to do much on the likes of Rune Regis, but I don't think the Gengar particularly likes staying in against it. And these rocks are fantastic as it potentially breaks a Sash on Poltegeist, if that's what they're running. Oh, they got the Curse Body. Well, that really sucks for me. That is really bad for me. That potentially lets Poltegeist set up for free in front of my face. As Delmise comes in. I'm assuming Delmise is going to try spin here, and honestly, I think Nihilego's done its part. So we'll sack it. As they actually live the Rapid Spin, that's funny. Potentially, I think maybe Stack Attacker can come in on this. I won't lose to an Anchor Shot. And Heat Crash really, really does a lot of damage to their team. Okay, I have to play this one quite carefully. We'll go Stucca. Even Gyro Ball in this position does a lot because they are +1. They might go for an Anchor Shot. Go for a Gyro Ball, which does nothing, which is great for me. Because that pretty much tells me my Gyro Ball is going to do a ton of damage. Unfortunately for Gelmai's, Gyro Ball and Rapid Spin really doesn't have the best synergy, which is kind of unfortunate because it would be cool. Okay, I said it did a ton of damage and that was a blatant lie, that did nothing. So we're just going to click Heat Crush here. It's probably a little stronger, it's 80 base as opposed to, it's actually super effective, yeah, it's probably going to be stronger. I kind of assumed with the +1 that my Stack Attacker might have max power Gyro Ball. We'll click Gyro Ball here, as this does catch anything swapping in. And at the +2 it definitely KOs. So I'm honestly not sure if Pokemon Showdown automatically adjusts the base power of Gyro Ball based on different speed tiers. I must check that out. This thing is a threat. I'm going to Gyro Ball. Oh, it's not Focus Sash. Okay, that thing was not a threat. My play, if it was Focus Sash, would probably be to keep Gyro Balling until it's low on HP. Or if they try Strength Stop, I swap into Tyranitar and get the stand up. I think I'll just Heat Crush here. It's 140 base, which is quite strong. Ooh, that's not bad. Now they are Rocky Helmet, and I really don't want to get Toxic Spiked on anything against the Sableye. So what I'm going to do here is swap into Ttar as they Destiny Bond. I'll Rocks once. Actually, do I value my Tyranitar at all? I'll Rocks. And here we're going to try and Pursuit, just in case again I try to swap out. And this, will this give me Beast Boost? It will, thanks to Mummy. Oh, it didn't. I thought the Wandering Spirit would give me Beast Boost and I get the +1 attack, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to work that way. Now I think they're not going to Mega Evolve this turn, so I'm going to T-Wave. They Mega Evolve, that's fine by me, because I can bounce the T-Wave back and stop them from burning me. So either way that was a winning play. If they stayed in and didn't Mega Evolve, I could T-Wave them. If they did Mega Evolve, I don't get T-Wave, so I can't get burnt, which is actually pretty good for me. And in this position, I can kind of just start clicking things and start trying to rack up damage. I'm going to swap into Ammostar here to try and spread a burn. And the reason I want burn so badly is because then burn and Sand Chip will do 12% a turn, which will eventually start to chip this thing away. Come on, Ammostar, burn for me. If not, I feel like Aerodactyl's Dual Wing Beat is still really strong in the endgame. Yes, we got the burn. That is excellent for me. GG. They can protect here, but the fact is that I can always just Scald, and they are taking 6% a turn. So if they protect, I just simply Scald next turn. I mean, they have to protect a ton of times in a row to even... No, that actually doesn't work because the burn kills them here. GG. My opponent played well, but I think I managed to play pretty well around their Sableye, and with that, we're going to pause and be right. So we have a game here against Mono Dragon. Now, thankfully, Dragon do run quite a few Rock Weak Pokemon, as well as that I think Ammostar is going to be very good against the likes of Garchomp. Now, Illego's Dazzling Gleam is also quite nice, so I think here I'm going to open up my Aerodactyl, as I thought they'd open up with their Garchomp. We're going to Mega Evolve and Dragon Dance turn 1, just to try and get a Stone Edge off. Now, they're probably Focus Sash, which they usually are on lead, I believe. Their Tailwind, that is really cool and very scary. I don't know if they can one-hit KO me, so I'm going to try and click Dual Wing Beat here. Now this does probably make things like Garchomp very scary, though they do have to take out Garchomp, I believe, or Hydreigon to outspeed me, because Mega Aerodactyl is actually just so fast. And we can wait Tailwind turns, that's great for me. Hydreigon comes out. Do I outspeed you? Unless you're max speed, I think I actually do. They go for Dark Pulse. We can take in Tyranitar here and simply click Stealth Rock. And the reason why I want Stealth Rock down is I want to try and break the potential Sash on Garchomp, which is what they end up actually going out to. Now, unfortunately, I'm not too strong on them, so I'm just going to Earthquake to try and get some chip. This thing is very scary. We'll go Stacka. And we're just going to go for one Gyro Ball. As they go into Turtonator. Interesting play. Presumably wanting to Rapid Spin away my Spikes, my Stealth Rocks, but we can Trick Room here. I click Earthquake. Oh wow, that lives. That's very surprising. Which is actually quite bad for me in this position, I think. At least here I can definitely threaten something. And if they want to give me Chip on the Garchomp, I'm more than happy to take it. That did so much damage considering I was burnt. Unfortunately, I'm going to Shell Smash first if I go in, so I'm going to have to sack my Magcargo with a burn. But this position, I can Shell Smash up. We get the Shocka Berry. It won't do too much damage thanks to Shocka and burn. And in this position, I believe Ice Beam should be able to sweep. I think we live at extreme speed. The question is, does Ice Beam KO Dragonite? My answer is I think yes. Does it KO Goodra? It does not. It does nothing to Goodra, in fact. And I don't think Dazzling Gleam KOs here. GG to my opponent. They played very well there. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game against Mono Rock, which I must say is exceptional taste on my opponent's part. Now, unfortunately, their Rock team looks to be really, really threatening. Things like Ammostar, Stack Attack, honestly, even Aurorus can be threatening because it probably has Aurora Veil. My Stack Attack is really good here. I think so is my Nihilego, as well as my Aerodactyl. I'm going to open up a Tyranitar though, as they open up Gigalith, and turn 1, I'm going to try and get my rocks down, which kind of just starts breaking things like Sash, Sturdy, the usual. You're probably sick of me saying that by now, but Stealth Rock is pretty good in this game. They're going to go for Body Press turn 1 and just absolutely annihilate me, which is not good. Are they Earthquake? Am I faster? I am somehow faster, which means I can Wisp here. And I think Magcargo is actually pretty decent in this game. Nope, Magcargo missed, so he's not very decent. I don't even get the Flame Body. That really sucks. That is very unfortunate to see. Because now they can easily go into Aurorus. Oh, they don't actually have Snow Warning. I thought maybe potentially they'd be Aurora Veil. They're going to definitely go for a... I think an Earth Power here. I don't particularly want to risk my Aerodactyl. I'm going to go Stacka. I feel like if they go for an Ice move, they go for Rock Polish. Interesting move. So we're going to Trick Room here. And this sets my Gyro Ball up to be quite powerful in the endgame, I think. Ooh. That's a really cool set. Thankfully, this is 4x effective, and Gyro Ball pretty much guarantees me a KO. And then after that, I do believe my Earthquake is going to be pretty powerful, unless they have some Air Balloon somewhere. They go into Regirock. This is definitely Body Press again. I don't think Gyro Ball KOs at this percentage, if I'm being completely honest. I have a damage calculator here, and that's why I have it here. Let's just check. So +1 against Regirock. I mean, this thing is like super, super defensive. Gyro Ball does 70 to 84. No, that is a dirty roll. I'm going to go into Magcargo here and try spread another burn if at all possible. They Drain Punch. Interesting play. And we get the Flame Body, which is excellent for me. I am very worried about their Ammostar, so I have to definitely play carefully around that. Their whole team seems to be Rock Polish, which honestly is really cool to me. I like to see that. We're going to try go for some Ancient Power boosts. I mean, I think in this position, I'm okay to sack Magcargo. Because I think if I set up a Shell Smash on my Ammostar, it's really powerful here. Hopefully they go for Earthquake, which activates my Shocka Berry. And I get the nice speed boost, so I can kind of just spam Scald here. Honestly, not 100% sure if it KOs Tyranitar. Ammostar is probably Focus Sash, and my rocks do break that, which is why I felt getting rocks up in this game a huge priority. Taking Gigalith. I'm just going to click Scald again. Even with the Sand special defense boost, I don't think they live Scald. I mean, Ammostar is deceptively powerful. Nice. Sorry for skipping turns so much. It's kind of an instinct thing. I do that so much when I'm training or practicing with teams. I'm almost certain Scald KOs. I mean, Ammostar's special defense is piddly. I'm going to click Earth Power. Unfortunately, this thing has like mega bad special defense. And in the sand, it was slightly better, so it was a slight concern. I don't know if this lives, no. So Ammostar, again, just doing Ammostar things and absolutely sweeping through the team nicely. So GG to my opponent, they played really well. They had a really cool team, honestly. I really like to see Rock Polish being used like that. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Monobug, which on paper is a pretty easy matchup. However, things like Volcarona can actually be strangely scary, especially if it gets off some quiver dances. Heracross and Buzzwole as well are not to be taken lightly, so I do have to play this one pretty carefully, especially if they're running sticky webs. It can be kind of scary. I definitely value Aerodactyl a lot in this game, as well as potentially Macargo to burn things like Heracross and Buzzwole. I unfortunately don't see Ammostar getting too much use. We're actually going to open up with Nihilego, as they go Galvantula, and my reasoning for that is it punishes them if they want to get out sticky webs. However, if they want to Thunder Me and try and Paralysis, potentially they don't get their sticky webs down. So they went for sticky webs. It's kind of annoying for things like Nihilego and Ammostar. Thankfully, Macargo, Stack Attack, and Aerodactyl aren't affected, which is really good for me. Golisopod comes in. I mean, this dies too. I don't die to an Aqua Jet. That's probably banded based on the damage it did, because that was hella strong. Scyther, oh, it's a Life Orb. Okay, Scyther might be Quick Attack, which will finish me off. That was way more damage than I expected. I guess I should have maybe expected Banded. Buzzwole comes in. Now, if they give me Buzzwole, it's super good for me. And they end up actually forfeiting, so I guess we'll take that win. And we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Poison. Now, Mono Poison is actually a pretty tough matchup. Things like Toxapex can really go a long way to wall me out, so I definitely have to be wary of that. I think I'm going to open up a Tyranitar and try get my rocks down turn 1. I think rocks in this position are pretty good. It's going to force them to defog and Crobat. And Crobat, depending on what I have out, might not even get the opportunity to do so, which is really good for me. Here we go again. I think I might have fought this guy earlier in testing. So if it's the one I'm thinking of, he has a Z-Haze Toxapex. Nido or Nido? I like Nido more, personally. I mean, Nidoking is really good too. But I suppose from a poison perspective, I like the speed provides. I think Nidoking is definitely a stronger wall breaker for breaking things like Ferrothorn, opposing Toxapexes and stuff. But Volcarona and Moltres, point. Really big threats. I just like the speed that Nihilego provides because Poison otherwise, besides things like Crobat, is a relatively slow type. I wouldn't say it's useless right now. Maybe not useless. They sweep my team. Makes sense. I think their Toxapex is definitely a huge issue, as well as their Venusaur. Muck can be scary, especially if it's like Banded. Banded knockoff really, really hurts my team. So I have to play carefully around this one. Unfortunately, there's nothing really I can use to set up Ammostar. I don't think they're going to go for Earth Power and Venusaur. Otherwise, I should run Assault Vest on Muck, but I'm not sure. It's really good. Now, unfortunately, my Ammostar as well isn't going to be able to Earth Power too much, because I do believe Slowking probably eats 2 with Assault Vest. Best Slowking. Yeah, I think Tyranitar is my best opening. Getting rocks down as early as possible. So they go in Pex turn 1. I think I value T-Waving Pex. They're probably going to fish for a Scald Burn. Hopefully they don't get it. Ah, they got a turn 1. That really sucks for me. Okay, we'll get rocks down regardless. They can lay their Toxic Spikes down as much as they want. It's not too big an issue for me, as long as I keep my Nihilego healthy to eat them up. Damn, that's doing like no damage. That would have been doing so much more. Ooh, the crit there is nice, but part of me wants to swap into Aero. I don't really have an answer to this. Maybe Ammostar actually, so I'm going to Nihilego. And then I'm going to double into Ammostar. That's just to get rid of the toxic spikes. If they go into Slowking. Interesting. They might go for a future side. Ammostar's special defense is terrible, so I'm not going to stay in here. I'll go into Ttar. And that way, if they do stay in and click future sight, we get a free pursuit off, which won't kill because we're burnt. Oh my god, that did so much. Unfortunately, they're going to regen back to the point where they can come back in on rocks. Unfortunately, if I wasn't burnt, that would have KO'd, and that would have been really handy for my team. So unfortunately, we're going to have to stay in until the future sight comes out exactly. And then we're going to try going to Ammostar again. With the rocks. Or with the sand, sorry, I should live a Scald easily enough. I'm going to click Earth Power. I just value getting rid of Pex so much here. It's definitely the biggest threat to my team. Venusaur comes out. Probably going to click Giga Drain. And I feel like for the most part, Tyranitar has served its purpose. So let's go into this. There's no way they click Earth Power. They click Leech Seed and miss. Sorry. Their luck is really, really bad. I mean, my luck hasn't been the best. Unfortunately, the burn on Tyranitar has hurt quite a lot. I'm actually going to Aero here. If they Giga Drain, it's not going to do too much. Sludge Bomb as well as Earth Power. Ooh, there's Sleep Powder. I'm so sorry. Their luck has been truly awful. We get the KO on Slowking, which is really good. Nihilego comes in. This is probably Meteor Beam. I feel like Staka lives, whatever it does to me. Especially thanks to Sandstorm. It's Power Gem. Do I go for a Trick Room first? Most of my team is slower, but I'm not going to just because I do value Aerodactyl, so I think Gyro Ball does a decent chunk of damage. That wasn't too strong. Probably because they are fully powered. Or powered, sorry. Does Earthquake do more? No, that is a defensive Venusaur if I've ever seen one. I want to try and bait in the Sleep Powder, perhaps with Macargo. So if they sleep my Macargo, it actually works pretty well for me. That means I can take an arrow, but I think my opponent is smart enough to just not do that. We're going to recover spam here. Perfect. That's all I needed, was to force them into that. So I can Dragon Dance up with Arrow now. Giga Drain's not going to kill, far from it. And at +1, I feel like I might just sweep the team. Assuming I connect. Earthquake should KO this. The Poison Touch is annoying, but it puts me on a timer, but not quick enough. As Dual Wing beat KO's Venusaur. If not, I have plenty of Pokemon to work around. GG. Sorry for RNG. It was really rough for them. I am sorry if you're watching this video, Shurkan. It was pretty rough for you. You played really well. Well played though. So we ended up at 1566. Let's see where that is on the ladder. If it wants to update, the ladder does take some time. 1556. It should be, I believe, around top 15. For sure. So with that, we're going to pause and be right back, and I'll check the ladder when it updates. So that is going to be it from Mono Rock, and I just checked the ladder there. We ended up at number 13 with 1566, which is honestly pretty good, especially for a type that most people would consider kind of bad or one of the worst types in the game. I personally highly disagree. I think Rock is really good if you know how to play it properly. It can be inconsistent and you need to really like wrestle with it at times, but I think it's very rewarding if you can pull it off right. So I know I'm a Rock main, so I'm going to be saying that kind of thing, but overall, hopefully you did enjoy. My goal here was to maybe change someone's mind on Rock and see that it's actually a pretty viable type. And especially if played right. It has some really good tools, though I will say you can't win every matchup necessarily easily. Like, for example, Water is just really, really tough for my team. I decided to forego Cradilly because I'd rather beat Steel and Grass, which I tend to see quite a bit. There is a few high-level Water players running around the ladder. Thankfully, I didn't see them, but I do see them often in testing. So, yes, hopefully you did enjoy anyway, and hopefully I did well to the name of Mono Rock. Definitely one I was really looking forward to doing, which is why it took kind of a long time to do. It took me like 2 weeks to record this because it's hard to find games. At the best of times on the ladder, it takes me like 5 minutes to find a game. I don't always get the time to record, so it did take me a while to actually sit down and make this one. So if you did enjoy, leaving a like, a comment, or sharing this with a friend, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, it helps me out so much. Like, it's crazy how much it helps me out, and I truly do appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed. So I really do appreciate that. If you feel the need to do that or feel like you want to do that, it does help out. I will have another type up hopefully next Thursday. I'm not sure which one right now. I have a couple in the works, so look forward to doing that, and I hope to see you there. With that, I hope you take care, and I'll catch you next time, everyone.